Let me tell you the joke of the day. Yesterday, I went to visit friends who are in Fortuna at the moment. They arrived from Ireland. Until there, no problem. Put the address in the GPS. Went to Fortuna without the GPS on because I know how to get to Fortuna. Fortuna is a little town from Murcia, and I think it's about 60 something kilometers from here. Then I arrive at Fortuna, and then I put the GPS on. Oops, the GPS brought me out of Fortuna, then back to Orihuela Costa. I say, ooh la la, what's wrong? Did I misunderstood what they said? Is there an urbanization called Fortuna in Orihuela Costa that I don't know? This kind of thing. But because I was lost in my thought, I didn't even think to call them once I was in Fortuna to say, okay, are we well in Fortuna, blah, blah, blah. And the result of it, it's when I went back to Orihuela, when I arrived, I called them. And I say, look guys, I went to Fortuna and the GPS brought me back to Orihuela Costa. Did I misunderstood your position? And they said, no, we are in Fortuna, just about 3 kilometers out of the town. That means went back to Fortuna. It was a nice ride, actually. The day has been something like a short of 300 kilometers. I was super happy to see them. And really funny day, you know. As I say, time is not a problem for me.
And here the map of my journey, almost 300 kilometers that day. So where am I going to bring you today? I'm going to take you to the Baños of Fortuna, close to the town of Fortuna. The town of Fortuna is located more or less about 20 kilometers from the region capital of Murcia, and at 3 kilometers from the town of Fortuna we have an hamlet called Fortuna Baños. This place is famous for the abundance of hot spring. We have hotels, spa hotel. We have even the camping. There is a camping behind the baños that even has a hot spring themselves. It's amazing. And the surrounding of the hamlet of Baños, the Fortuna, the surrounding is a natural park, I would say, and it's a desertic park. And it's where I'm coming now. My favorite part, actually, when I'm going to Fortuna, is a place that I would call almost a desert, a Badlands. It used to be a seabed that disappeared millions of years ago. Here, a little disclaimer, these images were taken few days after my visit to my friend, and unfortunately the sun decided to disappear that day. It was grey all day, hot. We had still 33 degrees, but no sun, unfortunately. Looking at the Badlands, I have the feeling to be on another planet. I don't know, the moon, or I don't know what other planet it looks like, but really, I'm always amazed of the landmark of this site. It's just unbelievable for me. I mean, where else would you find land like that? And it has been it's just a natural thing, actually. It's just as I say earlier, we used to have the sea, I don't millions years ago, and we still have that. And the result that because we had the sea millions years ago, we have salt, and the salt has been harvested for centuries before. Not nowadays because we have enough now if you go in on the costa. But it's amazing that we could get something out of the land. As you see, it's Badlands, there is nothing. that can grow actually, but it's a paradise for hikers and people who love the nature. And oh yes, another point that I just learned lately, that the Murcian people are ready to pay 16 euros each to conserve and to protect the land. That is amazing. They feel that is part of their DNA, and it's amazing that people are ready. Okay, I can understand that you pay, but that, I guess, few decennies ago, people would think, this land is nothing. Just you can grow olives like you have now, you can see on the screen. But now people realize the beauty and the potential. I mean, potential not to build anything or whatever, but just it's so beautiful. I'm really under the charm of this region. Water is scarce in this region, but it flows abundantly in the region of Fortuna. We have three main fountains like La Higuera, La Cueva Negra, and Los Baños. Those thermal springs were already popular in the Roman time, which today have made Fortuna an important spa town.
Los Baños Romanos, the Roman baths of Fortuna, are a very special place. The importance of thermal baths in the Roman world is well known. In the 1st century BC, the Romans built a large building of religious character on the site of a hot spring. The use of public baths was one of the most important social and leisure activities in Roman culture. That is why the thermal baths found in archaeological sites corresponding to this period are abundant. But the Bath of Fortuna, in Roman times, were not only hot springs. It was a sacred place where nymphs and goddesses of water were venerated. Here, people came from all over to take the healing waters. They implored the goddesses of water to cure their ailments and give them health. Los Baños Romanos. In the 1st century BC, the Romans built a large religious building on the site of a hot spring, one of the most important excavated on the Iberian Peninsula. The sanctuary must have been a spectacular religious complex. It was a building with a tripartite chevet, articulated around a stepped pool and a central channel, partly carved into the rock and built for the rest with large blocks of stone that formed the axis of the building. The three parts in which the whole is articulated, the chevet, the pool and the entrance, have exactly the same dimensions, in order to create a harmonious and symmetrical space, in which the thermal spring and the places reserved for the divinities stand out. Although there is little data, the archaeological remains allow us to link the interior organization of the building to a possible ritual linked to inscriptions found in La Cueva Negra.
As the good potato that I am, I forgot to turn on the microphone. Actually, I thought the microphone was on all my way from the Baños of Fortuna until here. That is a very short trip, about a small 1.5 kilometers, something like that. Okay. Climbing the hill to reach the top of Jesus, that was so hard. Even 10 minutes after I left the cave, I was still struggling to breathe. I was coughing. It was really something. It's made for healthy people, not like me, thin people, again, not like me, and hiker. I'm not at all. I don't feel any of those three profile. That means yes, I was just and I pretend to take pictures. No, I did actually to rest. But oh yes, another thing as well. I use AI voice. My comments are mine, the texts are mine, but some terms are very complicated for me to pronounce in English, even in French actually. That means if you do prefer to have my horrible voice to describe the thing, just let me know, both of you, if you do prefer that.
Located 3 kilometers from the town of Fortuna is the Cueva Negra. This cave is famous for its tituli picti, that are Roman inscription. The cave was already occupied in prehistoric times, as evidenced by the remains of flint tools found on the site. Then later, it was used in Roman times as a religious sanctuary. It seems that the use of the cave dates back to the 1st or 2nd century BC. People wrote poems, requests to the gods for healing, for wealth, etc., or thanks. Part of a poem by Virgil was found there, which speaks of female divinities, and also refers to the gods Venus and Bacchus. These texts, tituli picti, were written in red on the black painted ceiling of the cave. Some of these texts are linked to the Roman baths of Fortuna, mentioning nymphs, female divinities and gods such as Bacchus, Cybele and Venus. So far, up to 50 inscriptions have been identified among the many others that could be seen at the time. This sanctuary contains a spring of waters that were considered curative. The spring today is not so abundant and is protected by a grid, but in this part, you can still see a piece of tituli picti. Translation of the sign. So far, up to 50 inscriptions have been identified, out of the many more that could be seen at the time. Here you have a copy of most of the texts read as they are written, without transcribing them into standard Latin, which makes them somewhat more difficult to read. If you are interested, you can find a copy of the published texts at the town hall. The land you walk on was sacred for centuries and for many educated people. It forms an important part of the historical heritage of our town of Fortuna. We have arranged it so that you and many after you can see it and learn about one of the most notable pages of our history. Please, respect it and take care of it. The vault of the cave was painted black to write in red the requests, poems and thanks to the divinities. Back at the parking lot, I really enjoyed my little escapade to the cave. As I said at the beginning of the video, it's a good little climb. The site is well laid out so that families can come for a picnic. I leave you with this artificial voice. Hasta luego, hasta pronto.
Yeah, allez, I'll say a second time. Hasta luego, hasta pronto. Ciao, guys.